Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to Aquarius Rising Africa. And I hope wherever in the world you are, you're having a beautiful, beautiful day. And I have with me a very special guest, first time on Aquarius Rising, Christian Laterreur. And I just hope I'm saying the name correctly and I'm not butchering your name, Chris, because as I was saying, as South Africans, we tend to butcher French. But really wonderful conversations we've had before the show. Chris is one of the Montauk boys, one of the survivors, MK Ultra survivor, and just wow, so much more. I've been reading Chris's book for the last couple of days and absolutely blown away by some of the information in there. So, without any further ado, Chris, welcome to Aquarius Rising Africa. It is really good to have you here. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on your show, Chantal. Yeah, nice
Yeah, it's
to.
such a pleasure. It's an absolute pleasure. And I know, after having read your book, and I still have the last few pages to go, but I've been absolutely enthralled by what you have to say. So maybe before we go any further, and I will have all the details in the description area of the recording, but maybe you want to just start a little bit by telling us a little bit about yourself, how it began. You speak quite a lot about that in the book, so maybe we can start there.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm a French Canadian. Um, I was recruited in a program by the CIA, like a MK Ultra project, going to a job fair with my preschool, like the kindergarten. And people were talking about their trades, like they had tables and little booths, and everybody had like stuff about their trades on the table. And the last booth was military and cops. They had like guns and drug sample and the flyers and like recruiting military, blah blah blah, and like a bunch of checklists. And like they offered us to participate in the secret project, and they gave us like some checklists to fill out. We filled them out, and after once they were filled out, they gave us like papers for to give to our parents when we got home. And if they were okay for us to participate in the project, to bring back those paper filled out. And from there, we had an appointment with the CIA, the militaries, cops, and people from the school. Yeah,
So, just to confirm what you're saying, you're a bunch of preschoolers, so I'm thinking 5 or 6 years old. You go to some job fair that your class teacher takes you to, and you get to the stand where the CIA has their little booth, and you're enthralled, and they sign you up at the age of 5 or 6.
yeah,
So you then get to take the paperwork home for your parents to sign.
yeah.
And what happens from there? I'm assuming your mum would have signed it.
Yeah, my mom signed it because my dad was working in James Bay at that time. So like was going for a few months at a time and coming back. So yeah, my mom signed it. She was actually working with those cops. So like she trusted that everything would be nice. And we had this appointment, and they were like a bit watering down like all the what was really gonna happen, putting it like sweet and nice, and everybody talking to my mom at the same time, like just spinning her head like kind of like a team of salesmen on somebody, like so yeah, saying that like I would become a genius, uh through light traumas, and that I wouldn't remember nothing because of the hypnose, and that we would have support for the rest of our life, influence people, and yeah, and that's how they recruited a bunch of kids, like with those lies, and think it's a pattern the way they do this because they have a winning formula, so they always use the same kind of pattern, the same kind of technique, and that's what I'm trying to expose in the book because a lot of people think they have doubt that they went through those kinds of and like but they don't have the memory of it. That's normal because like they erase our memory and like I'll come to this later, but there's a machine for this and like so yeah like once people like notice like how they no, there's a pattern, and like a lot of people that will read the book will recognize, and that's why I did that book, like to give all those little details so that people like can wake up and like
Right.
free themselves from like those invisible chains.
It's amazing to me and quite shocking because I do believe you are the first survivor that I've spoken to in about 5 years that has not been forced in terms of taking them into the system through the satanic bloodlines, families, and stuff like that. So I mean, to me, this is just again another wave or level of manipulation where these manipulators, real monsters, are sitting there like just luring these little boys in. I mean, which little boy is not enthralled with James Bond or Spy Spy or whatever? The movies make it look so attractive to begin with. I actually
Yeah,
think that's where the grooming begins, is in the movies, because you know, you, and no one really gives the amount of thought that goes into being that super sleuth spy, right? Um, but they're really just playing on the kids' weaknesses. And I think what you mentioned as well was that your mom was working in the same building
yeah,
as what they were working. So she already had a level of trust that was installed.
yeah.
And to me, again, I think about that, and it would seem, gauging, where the rest of your story is going to go, they would have placed her there. They would have known. I don't know. Do you
Yeah.
think that that was possible, that that was all part of the setup already?
Orchestrated, yeah, like a bigger plan, yeah. Like sometimes I think this sometimes because yeah, like for sure, like there's people from bloodlines and all, but like they were, picking up kids from like good families, some from like poor families, some like streets and the kid, like kids that were in the streets or stuff like that, to do that. But like in my case, like my family was a nice family, loving family, like regular family, like both parents working, like had a house, like like regular people. So and I think like they misled a lot of people like that of every level of like standards in life kind of thing. Like some people are like from like the elite, some are like the poor. Like it's a contrast of like uh, there's certainly like certain like points that they're looking for, like like blood types and stuff like that, and like when you're young when they're recruiting like like the psychic powers like stuff like that they're looking for certain like features on certain kids and yeah and like they know how to find those and like they've studied like that's not starting from yesterday like it's almost 100 years old like so yeah like the technique that they're using so
So, talk us through how that began for you. So, when did you actually start your training? Did they save it until later, sign you up when you were 15 or 18? Or did you go from that young age? Were they starting
from
you
that young
with,
age yeah Like my first appointment was I had to walk by myself to school. Like I think it was the first time I was going by myself to school. Like and I got there and yeah, I was probably 7 at that point, like 6, 7, yeah. And they they get ask us a bunch of questions on cartoons we like to size our taste of what we liked in for cartoons, for superheroes, for all kind of toys, everything that because they were like really taking note of everything we liked. And so, and after they gave us some drug or and they sent us to play in the yard. That's where I met my buddy Eric for the first time, and we're still buddy today. And yeah, we were playing with a tennis ball on a wall for a bit of time. And yeah, we went back inside and we had to go in the office each, and there were a machine with different color lenses, and we were looking in this, and like it was a bunch of gore image, violent image, old war image, from Germany, and stuff like that were passing like through repetition, and just changing the colors. So we were seeing this and all kinds of colors, adult activities and stuff like that, but like for a while. And yeah, I think that was just to get us used to see that kind of stuff, like under any color, any circumstance, or like it was part of the build-up, I think. And once we finished actually at the same time, so that was probably the same kind of the same roll of image that they were passing to me and Eric. So we had to sleep for an hour before we could leave, and like we weren't supposed to talk, but yeah, we stayed friend from there. So yeah, so yeah. Once we left, yeah, we were buddies, and so,
Wow. So so initially it was more just programming, like nothing really traumatic or anything like that. It was more just skills and
yeah,
working with
yeah, and
lights.
SRA a bit, nights of rituals and stuff, and like I think well, at 7, in that same year, because the CIA bought a school that was abandoned, uh and they had to refurbish it, and that was like used for the Monarch project. So there were like regular kids that were going to school too, but like not many. And when we had specialized classes, they were taking those kids and bringing them to field trips, or s- uh, movie days or stuff like that. So yeah, that was a school that like they bought that school, and they bought a little church in front that was like an undercover office for the CIA. Like and yeah, that's and sometimes they were making us cross to the other side, like doing tests in that church, and yeah, but that's how it
What sort
worked.
of what were you doing in the church? If you say SRA and stuff was involved at that young age, were they already
Yeah.
like getting you part of rituals?
Yeah, but
What were you
it wasn't.
doing?
I don't have memories of SR in that church. Like I have like memories of they were bringing us one on one there, and we had questions and stuff, and at some point they had a machine to install in there that to look into the future. Like it was a machine they brought in a bunch of cases, transport cases, and there were like extra staff from the CIA that was there all along the time that the machine was there. It was something really so And yeah, like there were two machines actually. There were one in the school, a smaller one, and the other one we were sitting in it in the church. So yeah, like
Wow.
that's and we were
Wow.
seeing till the end of our lives. Like and like there were different results because like those machines were there at the same time, and we had them at school for probably a week or so. And I went like three times, like two times on the small one and one time on the big one. And like two of the result weren't like but like two were really close, but like the other one was like completely like like so, and like there weren't like much happened that week. Like I was going to school, like like it's just later in the week or so. Like was it the divergence or of this like changing? Like I don't know, but yeah, that was like
Wow.
interesting machine. So yeah, that's technology that they had in the 80s. So
Did you say you could see till the end of your life with
yeah,
that machine? So you were
yeah,
so it was predicting the future. You were
yeah.
seeing your
And but like
future
on fast
timelines.
forward, like kind of thing. Yeah,
Wow. Like timelines.
yeah,
Wow. That's wild. Wow. So you were able to see that what they were showing you that at the age of 7, you guys
yeah.
in there?
7, 8, like because like the Monarch programming, this lasted I think 6 years. Like
Right.
so,
Interesting. So how did it progress from there? When did things
uh,
start getting like when you started realizing, okay, this is not just watching repetitive movies and having colors flickering through my eyes anymore? When
yeah.
did you
Well,
start realizing things are getting nasty?
uh, Uh, in the waterboarding test, like as like one of the tests was we were laying in a gasket of water, and they were strapping our head in the gasket so we couldn't like lift our head to take air. And like as soon as like they were closing the cover, like it was pitch dark, and there were a two-way speaker in this, and like something was splashing in this soon as they were closing the cover, like waterboarding us. And like the test was to do astral projection from like in the waterboarding. And like in my case, it was to go and find my handler in another school that was close to where we like few miles from where we were. And like he had like two names, two words on him on a chest, and he was waiting for me to like say those words, and like they would stop the machine from splashing. So I'm the only one that managed to do this, and that's what sent me to Montauk. Like those words were propaganda and constitutional. So.
Wow.
Yeah. And like that's something that I remembered through the regression hypnose. And that's something that like was ultra locked in me. Like they didn't want this out. Like because like even like through the hypnose, like I was jamming, like I couldn't say it, like and at some point like I said it, but yeah, like and like
Wow.
my buddies that were there, because like I met another friend there, Martin, and we're still friends today. Like we were all in the pool. Like we all have the memories of the parents watching us, so we don't talk together in the pool, and like till going to the test and after, because we were all drug in the pool. So like yeah, they have that memory. They because like to them it's a nonsense because like what would we do in the handicap school in the middle of summer when we all had pools at our place, like and so like me it's because of the regression hypnose that like I remember those details now, like but yeah, if they do the regression hypnose they'll remember those like the gaskets because they don't remember the gaskets. So like it's really something that they hide in us. Those memories are really hidden in us, and like they have a perfect memory. They remember all their when they're young, like but they can't say like. And I have like five, six different place appointments that they know they were there and all they have memories of it, but they don't know what they were doing. All the rest of their life, they know what they were doing. Like, but like just that's just like so like they really need to get like a regression hypnose too. But yeah, like I give so much details, like like they remember a bunch of stuff, like so yeah, it's not
This
by
sounds like,
myself.
was the original programming you went into, was that the gateway programming? And then was that called the gateway?
It was Monarch. Like there were different programs. Like Monarch was just like the new
Right.
name for
Okay.
MK Ultra. Like and like there were like different fields. Like like some people weren't in the psychic powers. Some like there were some people that were being molded to be like like politicians, like. Doctors, like police, like like all those people that like are in position today, like the so yeah, like they were just molding the way there. So like there's different fields. It's not everybody that went to Montauk. Like Montauk, Montauk was, I think, the worst place like for abuse and all, like because.
Why? What do you think? Uh, I understand that Montauk was really bad for these horrible experiments and torture for young guys, and I think girls, I would imagine as well. Um, what was the purpose of Montauk? What were they trying to achieve with that particular programming?
Uh, like it was a big part of it was like to open the doors of our mind, and like through like the astral projection, through like telepathy and all, and like to explore our minds. And they had like this chair at Montauk that was like supposedly from a like a alien crash from Roswell, and like there it was a special chair for sure, like. What we were thinking on it like was appearing as an hologram like like so that was kind of like special, like we're backing up in the 80s, like TVs were like a block of wood, like like cabinets of wood, like you had to slap them to
Yeah,
work. And like this is not like they
absolutely.
were reading our mind, and like yeah, so the that was a special technology. And uh yeah, that like I remember like doing this test twice on that chair, and like it appeared like a 3D image, but like like you probably could pass your because you were seeing through it kind of thing too. But like it's just in light, but really what you thought about. And there were
Wow.
also a portal that they were installing in front of that chair, and like uh, a purple portal that was almost like soon as they were like starting it or whatever, like it was almost pulling you into it. Like that's the effect it had, and like it was like easy to like leave for astral projection, and like through this, and like they were sending us through time, through space, like to like different like I've been there like 4 or 5 times on the Montauk chair, and like hours at a time, like different place, so like yeah, like we were exploring for them. So
So the portal, the purple portal, was that something that they obviously would have created for their special needs, put it that
Yeah,
way, or or did
I
they
guess something.
place the Montauk chair where that portal was?
No,
Because if the
they were adjusting it in front of us. Like it was like on
right,
a pivot, like a bit like a medical lamp, or like that they adjust. But like it was kind of like a mirror, and like a watery purple look, like like the Stargate movie, like the same, like but like without the whoosh, like that's the.
right, right,
But like
right.
yeah, and like we were focusing on this. Another thing, like I had like a hat on the with a bunch of monitors that were plugged on it. Um, Also a mask with like they were making me breed a new flower that they just discovered in the Everglades. Uh, that flower was a ghost orchid, epiphat. It's a floating flower, and like that was discovered, I think, in 80, and we were in 83. So like it was freshly discovered. And that's the vapor that they were making me breathe in the mask. Um, while like and like I had a catheter, like to pee and all, because like I was there for hours at a time. And what else? Like on that chair, there were a little monitor like on the right side of the near our foot, and like a little table that they were adjusting, like for like to, that like what we thought was appearing on it, like anyway, that's the pretty much the setup of the chair. It was like underground, well, in the basement of the tower, but like we were in kept in cages, like in tunnels under like the Camp Hero, like as like there's tunnels there and there's rows of cage, and yeah, like we were kept there, like no beds. Uh, the place was gross.
How
Like
long at a time were you there for? At
uh,
is that what you call Campiero? Was this
yeah,
Campiero?
that's Camp Hero, like Montauk, yeah. So like I don't know how long I've been in the cage area. We were so drugged, like that's something like I remember like like but I don't know like the time it was, because I yeah,
Right. Wow.
I was
So
probably a week or so like in that place. So like because yeah.
so they were regularly dragging you, even when you were going to school and stuff like that. So they would like literally be giving your mom drops or whatever it was of LSD.
Yeah,
Oh, I think it's
a
LSD
little
to give
calendar.
you.
Yeah, for like those days of training, and like the days like that, like she had to like give me like a drop on my tongue in the morning before I go to school, and like those were training days, and like yeah, she had like a little brown bottle home, and like yeah, I was getting at school, and we were doing like those like telepathy days, or like a bunch of psychic tests that we did on LSD actually, like so like yeah, like we were taking LSD on a regular basis at that age, like from 7 8 yeah.
Wow. And your mum was giving it and they were okay. I mean, I'm wondering, was your mum and your dad, I mean, I know from what I was reading in your book, he wasn't originally very happy with this
No, my
because he was
dad, as soon
working
as he
away from
found out,
home.
like as he came back from James Bay, and like he grabbed all my stuff, he put it in the car, and like my son won't be like experiment for the MK Ultra, and like so yeah, like we left, and like at the city limit, my handler was waiting for me, the cup handler that I had. And he pulled us over and he made my dad turn around and bring me to my mom. And I was almost like at least a year without seeing my dad after that because of that. And
Wow.
yeah, like yeah, that's
Wow.
because he tried to get me out of that. So that's the divorce, my parent divorce, and all because of yeah. So
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. And I mean, it's, for me, what I find fascinating is the way that they've been able to manipulate your mother
yeah.
into making her think that this was something good. And as far as I know from your book as well.
There were doctors, there were cops, and they were saying, "Oh, it's not, it won't matter. It's just tiny drop." Like so. Uh, that's they were, yeah, they were just playing with people's like, using like influence people to like, just like, they put people in trust, but like, it was all bullshit. Like. How many of my friends that are fucked up because of the LSD we took, and how many of like, like off themselves or because of like all the treatment we had, and like, like that was bad. Like, like you see, it's like you hear about it like that, and still like it comes and it goes. But like when you live it, or like, it's another thing. Like, yeah, scars are deep. So
No, I totally, I well believe that.
yeah,
In your book, there was an incident, 12th of August 1983,
yeah,
at Camp Hero.
yeah. That's
Can
the
you
last
share with
time.
us?
Yeah, that's the last time I went on the chair. That's the last day of Campiro, actually. So, yeah, like a big part of the kids that weren't like getting out of that place was because they were like going through this portal and like through astral projection and losing themselves and not like just like the not coming back ever in the body. So like the body was an empty shell. So like that's why a lot of the kids like so they supposedly it was 1% of us that made it out alive. So from that place, and that's people that were working there that said that. So uh,
Wow. So I want to just be sure I'm understanding you correctly. This purple portal that they had there, and when you were sitting in this alien chair
yeah,
from the Roswell crash
yeah,
that they have, which is now the Montauk Chair, right?
yeah,
They have it in front of this portal, which then takes the kids out, and that's part of their astral projection training. But
yeah,
what you're saying is that many of the kids actually never came back, so
yeah,
they died, I would imagine. What
yeah.
happened to their bodies when they died? Were they then?
I personally
Um,
like I saw one of the kids that was like uh because we were all staggered in the cage. Like one was in front of one cage was a kid in it, no kid. The other cage, so like they were skipping a cage, and like same thing for the one in front. So like that, we were all staggered, kind of thing. And they had this kid that was like on the corner of two rows of cage, and he was hanging by the foot and like draining in a pan, like and like the blood was draining in the pan, and like you're 8 years old, you're scared of looking at them, like, and I had them like he was staggered between me and Steve, kind of thing, like the other side, and like Steve was in the other row, but like in the middle, and like this kid was like the other side. So anyway, and I was trying to talk to Steve, like, because like he had like a pedo de Montoya for name to use there. Mine was Duncan Cameron there. And like so I was calling him pedo, 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 but he wasn't even moving or giving signs of life, you know. And at some point, I even said, Steve, you know, like, and that more like, yeah, and like, so I didn't know if he was dead. I didn't know like if I was gonna be killed too. Uh, that was, yeah, a scary place. Like, yeah, like when you're 8 years old and you see all this, like that changes you after. And yeah, like that's something that they grabbed me from that my cage, and they walked me to the chair and like calmed me down, like Jack was saying that like was trying to calm me down, that he was like gonna be next to me and like he's gonna guide me and to go open my gateway, and like he would guide me back so that I wouldn't get lost and all, and I was safe. And so like he was telling me about like that flower that they just discovered, and like that I was breathing this in the mask, and showing me a lotus, a white lotus, and telling me it's like it was used since ancient Egypt and all, trying to calm me down from like the cage area that was so crazy, you know, like I just had that like the hallway, the tunnel kind of thing to go to the chair, you know. So uh, yeah, at some point, like cool down, and like I did my stuff. But when I came back from the astral projection and I woke up, I was by myself on the chair, still hooked up and all, and like he wasn't there. So like I completely lost trust in him from that point. Because like you know, like that was something that they were scaring me since the beginning of like the of the astral projection. Because like I could get lost, I couldn't go too far. It was like, you know, like scaring me all the time with this. Like I couldn't go too far, and yeah. So yeah, it wasn't there when I woke up, and
Jack, was it Jack? And Jack's your handler, right?
yeah, Jack was my handler. That like I had a cup handler, and I had Jack also that was like always coming home, and so yeah, that was the psychic one, the one that showed me how to build my storage, my mind, and like all the memories and all, you know. Anyway, he showed me a lot of stuff, you know, like not all bad stuff, but like most of it is bad. So yeah, like he wasn't there, and like that's where I lost trust and reflex, because like I was 8 years old. I didn't know like much like that was mean in life, except those guys and my little monsters, like glow in the dark monsters stickers. And like that's what I thought about. Like that's what I thought about on the chair. But like there's a portal that opened. Like don't ask me how. I don't know. But that's the truth, you know. Like there's a little there's a light that started going bigger, 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 and like one at a time, like the monsters were coming out, and like the light was closing back, and like after it was reopening, another monster. There's 6 monsters that came out like from my albums, my sticker album, and like they killed some stuff. They destroyed a part of the base. The base is closed since. It's no jokes. So that's why Stranger Things is based out of like the monsters and all. Like, that's my story day. Oh,
Wow. Wow. That's
that's true.
incredible.
That's true. Like,
I just want to again just make sure I've got all of this because sure. Okay, so you went onto the chair, portal opened, right? You obviously traveled somewhere, but something happened that out of this portal, six monsters who were characters from your monster
yeah,
collection at home.
yeah, my
Yeah,
sticker and my
right.
sticker album. Yeah,
So they were characters from your sticker album that came through. And literally, these monsters were the ones that protected you because when I
yeah.
read your
This,
book of that of that particular incident, it was very, very traumatic. So you were already hugely traumatized, and literally not knowing, you're 8 years old, you're not knowing whether you're going to live or die. And then the monsters come in from your sticker collection and literally protect you and
Yeah.
save you. What happened after that?
Uh, well, they save every kid that was in the place that day, like, cause like I'm not sure everybody would have made it out, like with the ratio 1%. So anyway, uh, I was still hooked up to the chair, like the months, like Preston Nichols, like one of the monsters stood by me and like just like kind of reassured me telepathically, and Preston like was like hesitating and like she moved, she made him space, and like he took off like the catheter and everything that was hooked up to me, and he brought me outside. And from there, there were like two military trucks, like with a tarp in the back and two rows of seats. And like they made us sit in there. They all gave us like blankets, gray blankets. And somebody went to get some military jogging suits. Some were blue and gray, and some were green and gray, and they dispatch all the suits to everybody. There's a school bus that with blacked out window that came. It parked right behind the bus, behind the two military truck. So like we all like got off the military truck and went in the bus. And like as I was like getting in the bus, my handler, my cop handler, was arriving with his cop car. So like Preston, Nicole got me out of the bus and brought me to my handler and told him get him out of here because they'll use him as a guinea pig. And so like
What?
we followed the bus for a while. Uh, and after like we took our own way, like we stopped at a motel to like clean me up a bit because he was bringing me at my mom. And like usually like we had like a week of healing before we go back, you know. I was freshly beat up by military guys, and so like I was beat up like so when my mom saw me, she was freaking out, like, what happened to my son? And like they locked me in my room, but like, you know, I had a small house and I was hearing everything they were saying in the kitchen. And yeah, he just didn't know what to say. Like because I was big, like, you know, like
So they actually saw, they were obviously witnessed these creatures coming out of the portal. So they saw them as well. Is that what you're saying?
oh yeah, like people, yeah, the monsters killed staff there, like and like they had to cut the power to the building to like because they didn't know how many would come out, and like so they had to like cut the power to the building like with torches like
Wow.
yeah, because like they were shutting the breakers and it was still continuing, and so like yeah, they were like overwhelmed by that. And the funny thing is that the owners of the Camp Hero in those years are the same owners of CERN. So like
That is fascinating. So they really have got a thing. Do we know who these owners are? Is it government owned or is it
it's
privately
more
owned?
like private, privately owned, I think. Like
Wow.
yeah,
Wow. So, I mean, that is freaking insane. So on the Montauk Chair, you bring out these your protectors, who
yeah,
everyone would call monsters. I call them your angels, and they literally shook that place upside down, took some staff members out, freed the kids. You got out to the point where Preston Nichols, who's well known for his Montauk shenanigans, says, get him out of here because they're going to use him as a guinea pig. So your handler
yeah,
gets you out, takes you home quickly. Normally, it gives you guys a week or two to rest up for your bruises to disappear so there
yeah.
aren't too many questions asked. and now your mom, I mean, I can imagine she must have had a cadenza. What
Oh
happens
yeah,
after that?
well, I couldn't go out for a few days because I was so beat up, and like we had to wait for Jack to come, and my mom my aunt Lou didn't know what to say to my mom, and like Jack was gonna come see you, and like so yeah, when he came, I had to say that I fell during my trip to New York, like we stopped at the light tower there, and he gave me also keychains of like the light tower, like in Montauk, and so I had to say that I fell in those rocks, and that's why I was all so to go to start back going out again because and yeah, like the big question, like what do you know from monsters and all, and when I showed him, Jack was just he got a 2 minute, not like no reaction, just like in his mind, just kind of panic, trying not to look panic about about my sticker album. So yeah. So
And
he
then they
told me I
decided.
wasn't good to go to bed with those, and he brought me a light. Yeah, so yeah,
So afterwards, Jack, your handler, decides you shouldn't be having a monster sticker collection anymore. Did he take it
yeah.
away?
No, but I couldn't go to bed with it, and like my little ritual of the monsters, like because I was putting them at the sun all day while I was going to school, and please charge them as
Because
when I
they
was
were
a
like the
kid.
neon ones, right? They were those
Yeah,
shiny ones.
yeah. So
Wow. That, what do you put that down to? I mean, you as Chris sitting here having, I want to say, conjured up that protection, not just for you, but for, I can't even imagine how grateful those kids must have been to you that
yeah.
day because, and I know, and I don't want to, it's in the book, but I know, and we're gonna definitely put the link of your book in the description because I think that is such an important book to read. Wow. It actually explains what happens before, and obviously the kid that's dead in the cage and stuff like that. I mean, the
So
trauma.
many legends about like my story. There's like I think 5 movies inspired of my story. There's Stranger Thing the series, even a Stranger Thing like the series for kids too. It's all inspired of my series of my story. But like if they knew like the because people don't see what I see, what I live there, but they think it's a sci-fi and all. No, no, it's me and my friends that were there. I lost
Right.
people because of that place. So to see everybody, oh, no, it kind of pissed me off because people have to know it's not a sci-fi, that's based on my torture, what I lived there, and yeah, there's a magic somehow that saved us, and that but
You know, it's so fascinating what you're saying because there's another woman I interviewed, Beverly Rhodes. She was from the UK but lived in South Africa for many years, and then had to go back in '99.
yeah,
But also went through, when she was here, she came here as a young child and adult. Her handler literally set up all the trafficking rings in South Africa and Africa. He was the head of that. And she also went through extreme torture and stuff as a child. And she talks about, because I asked her the question, where did you discover, when did they discover your gifts? Because she was then used by the ex-presidents of South Africa to do remote viewing and stuff like that. So she was really very, very good at that. And she also spoke from a very traumatic experience that suddenly she had just had enough and she just exploded something in her vicinity, like she broke something, you know. So it was almost like getting to that point of I will not take it anymore, and then really just moving into what I call your God power, you know.
Mhm.
That's the way I see that. So the way I see that as well is God also works in very mysterious ways. Those were your friends. Your sticker monsters were your friends. They were always there. They were your, and your heart was there, and that was what brought them to you. And it doesn't matter what shape or form or size they took, but they would have come in a form that you would have understood and recognized that wasn't scary for you. That's what I think. uh, you know, it was really God taking care of you, and
Yeah,
your guides, your angels. That's the way
yeah,
I
it
see
was
that.
protection. Yeah, for sure. Like it's yeah.
It's just beautiful. I love that story. I really,
Mm.
really do. And it just shows that through such traumatic times, there's a lot of good that comes out of it, you know. And I never want to say to anyone who's been through that, that was good. That's not what I'm saying, just for the record. But I'm saying that in situations like this, when that occurred, and it just shows that these guys have no. I'm like wondering, they're making it into a sci-fi thing, a sci-fi series. Meanwhile, it's really your creator. It's really you and your creator. There's nothing scientific about that. It's purely spiritual. I
Yeah,
don't know. What do you say, Chris? That to
yeah,
me is a
like,
topic that is fascinating.
yeah, for sure. Like it's uh yeah, the monsters are like just like they were kind of pure energy, like
Totally.
they like he had trouble looking at them. They were so bright, and that place was so dark. Like so, like but you were seeing like the shape. They were just like human size, yeah,
I
yeah.
love
So
it. No, I think that is
that's that's
absolutely
what saved
incredible.
us that day. That's what started the legends. But like that's what really happened. It's not Junior that came out of nowhere, or like they started like a bunch of like different stories of my stories, and I'm there to cut the bullshit because and to put the names on the kids that died, and because if people know, people will be watching themselves, will be watching them kids, it's going to be harder for them to get kids. I shut down like 5 6 place in with my book that they can't use anymore. I invite people to not even look into those, and just like trust me, they can't use those places anymore. I don't want people to get hurt, so that's why but yeah, it's when you live this, and something that yeah, you don't want any kids to have to go through this, it's insane,
No, I can well believe that. Good grief. Something else that I want to touch on, and shame I don't want to keep you too long today because I know it can't be easy talking about this stuff all the time. But what I still want to touch on with you today, what I found very interesting was that you were born with an extra set of teeth.
yeah, yeah,
And that was often seen as someone who is special, right? I don't know,
yeah.
can you maybe tell us a little bit about that? Do
Yeah,
you,
I had to go through a surgery for this because they removed about I think 30 something teeth, two I had like 2 rows of teeth, a bit like Anunnaki, the giants, uh, like uh, supposedly they had 2 rows of teeth, so yeah, they had to remove those, and
how old were you when they removed them?
I was young, young, probably 6, something like that. 6, 7 years
Wow.
old.
Was it before or after you were signed up for the CIA thing?
At the beginning, I think.
Wow. Because it would seem to me that obviously if they've noticed that in you, and again, we know how these guys work, they would have had your doctor's records, your dental
Yeah,
records.
they took blood works of us, like like there were doctors following us. There were like cops. There were military. There were like like different fields. Many fields like and all people with stature. Like that anybody look at those people in the street like like it's important people usually. But like yeah, like important people to bad people.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I know also going further along, and I don't want to do it all tonight, so if you don't mind,
Uh,
we can break it into another show as well, where we go deeper into stuff, because there's so much that you've spoken about as well. I mean, I know you spoke about encounter with Anton LaVey and friends.
yeah.
Michael Aquino.
Yeah.
I say
Yeah.
I must say I had a giggle at the story where you were where you were on LSD and
LSD,
his
yeah.
eyebrows. Listen, that's the first thing I saw. I didn't know who Aquino was until I came onto this show. And the first thing I went and I googled a picture of him.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, how does anyone not see that this man is a Luciferian? Those
Yeah.
eyebrows are like Satan's horns. I mean,
Even that's
okay,
today, like, well, in the last few years, like, but like, in those days, he had like the haircut of Dracula, like a point in the middle, and like, Dracula, like, he was funny to look at, like, and with those eyebrows that were coming out like that, like, on acid, like, forget this, like, stab me all you want behind the head, I'm not stopping. Like, no way.
that that I that I did find was hilarious. And guys, you got to get the book for that
Uh,
because Christian, you explained it beautifully actually when he
uh,
met Akita and he was they were on LSD. They'd given the kids LSD and they these you and your
Everybody
friend I
was
think took.
laughing. Like, it's just like laugh is contagious. So, like, yeah, like that started the thing.
So Akito actually did have a bit of a sense of humor too. I thought that was quite sweet actually. But anyway, wow, wow. But fascinating. Your friend Stuart though, was he okay? The one in the cage next to you.
Oh, I'm losing you here. I didn't hear the last thing you said.
I quickly popped back, I reversed back to your friend Stuart,
Yeah.
who was in the cage next to you. Was he okay?
Stewart was more in the end of the Stewart like wasn't my friend, but like we were like living 15 minutes away from one another. So like we were brought there in the same car, like and like I saw him a few times, like yeah, but like my buddy Steve, like yeah, like he made
So
it
was
out.
it okay, so sorry, was it Steve or Stuart that was in the cage? Did I get the name wrong?
Steve was well, both were in the cage, but like Steve was like close to me, like and Steve was my regular partner that they were pairing me up for most of the tests all the time. Like kind of my the twin, like like for
Right,
telepathy and
twinning.
all, and like so yeah, like yeah, that was something, and like Steve didn't make it too long after, like Montauk. This really like damaged them like big time. So yeah, like and yeah, so many like so uh, the life they gave us doing this is like yeah, like people will get it once they like see a bit like the book, like like what they made us do, and that's what I can say in a book, like, but people will like do their own like analyze of this, but yeah, like there's so many things to trigger people's memory that if they went through it and reading this book, like it's gonna trigger memories if they went through it. Like for sure, because like there's like I said at the beginning, there's a pattern to this thing, and like they have a winning formula. They won't change it. Like it's
Well,
worked for years.
well, everything evil is only has a limited lifespan anyway. And I'm very grateful for people like you who have literally gone through hell and back, literally,
Yeah,
and yeah, to tell your story. And I really, really, really appreciate you. So for part one, I want to say thank you so much. I know we've got a lot more I want to definitely talk about when you came out, what happened when you, I mean, the honeypot sent your way, your daughters, the trauma, that, I mean, it's a never ending story. But yet, here you
targeting.
are.
Yeah, like, yeah. Here I am. Yeah. So yeah, my
So
story
thank
is.
you for that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Is there anything you want to say just in closing for us today before we meet again the next time?
If people want to like look at my website that just started, like to get a bit of information, there's a lot of like information on MK Ultra there, like different, like not just my book, but like documents and like like a lot of pertaining stuff to MK Ultra that people should be aware of, and like so yeah, terror at montauk.com.
Tara at montauk.com. We're going to be putting all your details in the description area, but maybe you just want to just tell us what your website is. Is it Terror at Montauk, right?
Yeah, terror at
Cool.
montauk.com, and yeah, that's it. And yeah, like people will have a lot of information. There's also like a preview of the book there, and they can get the pre-release there too. So yeah, like it's in
Absolutely.
English for now, but yeah, it's gonna come out in 8 different translations. So like all this in November. So that's just like
That's
the
amazing.
pre-release.
That's amazing. It's a great book, guys. Got to tell you, shakes us. Definitely does shake us. I always say these things never, never get easier. In fact, they kind of get worse, because sure, to think that so many children are subjected to this
Yeah,
on a daily basis.
yeah,
Innocent kids, not just kids being trafficked and tortured and raped and horrific things done, but like yourself, that are put through the most grueling, torturous experiences. For what? So they can figure out how to fly through a portal? I
yeah.
mean,
That's like, that's, yeah, there's no good reason. There's not a valid reason for like a kid to be used like that. Like, no kids deserve this. No kids at all. Like, none of it.
no,
So,
absolutely not. Anyway, we will continue to disclose and expose and
yes.
appreciate whistleblowers like yourself, Chris. So until we meet again, thank you so, so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you watching. And until the next time, take good care.